we had a pre-fight talk. And because of the pay-per-view, that means Dana comes. So Dana was there, and it's just fighters only, and Dana. He gets on talk to the fighters, and all the fighters had to be there, and just us, and we're just chatting, and then he just does the full G-up thing, like magic. He's like, you know how he does the ads on TV? Like, that's probably how he is.
Yeah.
Like, he can be, like, muck around and stuff, but he was like, you want to get that 50K bonus? He was like, show me a fight. Like, he was G'ing us all up. You know, like, people want to see, like, he was making us, like, I want to go to war.
What's his name? Notorious.
Come on. All right, sweet.
Straight out.
Thanks again for coming. Welcome back to another episode of the Notorious Experience. Quick shout out, of course, to Luna Kicks, Maddie George's Encore Collective for the studio. We're here again. I got Nadia.
Hello.
I'm going to make it's Kasim. Yeah. Nadia Kasim. One of the first guests that actually know how to say your last names because I'm Lebo as well.
Everyone says Kasim, it kills me. But anyway.
What do Americans say?
They say Kasim, like there's a double E. And it's always been something different. Everyone changes their mind.
But thanks for coming on. You're actually the first girl to come on the podcast. So there's a bit of I swear to God, a bit of a milestone here.
We're breaking the chain.
As you can see, I got a jumper. And
I like it a lot.
Because you're the first girl.
Stop, that's so cute.
It's a milestone here.
No, thank you, appreciate it.
So I had to get you on as well.
Thank you so much. It's actually pretty fresh.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on. Bit of a milestone here. You are from the area. What area are you from? You're from Sydney?
So I grew up in Whitmerville.
Yep.
And basically moved out of the area like 8 years ago or so now. So yeah, been there for a little while. Yeah, so I grew up in Whitmerville and I trained in Whitmerville as well with the MMA gym there. And went to school around there. So yeah, it's been a bit of an area for me. And yeah, lived in Meridian with my dad as well. So yeah.
Bring it a little bit closer to you. Might be better. So a bit of a background about yourself. If anyone doesn't know, you former MMA fighter, fought in the UFC, held an Australian championship as well.
Yeah, and I got a South Pacific title as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what you used to do. What are you doing now?
So basically now, like, I've kind of left the fighting life aside a little bit, and I've come more towards like working full time. So jumped into normal life a bit.
Mm-hmm. When was your last fight?
The end of 2019. So it's been ages now.
Was your last combat fight?
Yeah, I haven't competed in anything since, to be honest.
Have you been training?
I was going to fight in 2020. I had a fight booked. It was just like about to be announced. And then I incurred like a pretty shitty injury.
Was that with the UFC still? Sorry?
Yeah, it was still with the UFC.
Yeah.
So I was meant to have the fourth fight on the contract, obviously the first one being a win and the last two losses. So there was a lot of pressure to perform, do well, because like it's a 4-fight contract. So if I had won that fight, they would have revalued my contract, which means like heaps more money, and then, you know, you get more noticeable, like with the women. Like if you're not having a mad standout fight, you're not really getting noticed.
Yeah.
So I hadn't had any like I hadn't had any finishes or anything, and then the last two I got finished. I felt like I had a lot to prove to get my name back up there.
Yeah.
So I came in undefeated and like, you know, two TKOs, 2 knockouts. Like, you don't see that a lot with the females at my weight division. So that's what made me probably so noticeable and marketable. You know, like younger, you know, likes to be feminine, but likes to, you know,
mix it up.
Hit bitches in the face. Like, that's the reality.
Not a lesbian.
Right? Yeah, like low key. I've been asked so many times, and I was like, no.
I want to get into the UFC stuff and when you left and stuff, but how did you even get into fighting? Like, it's not really a common thing in Western Sydney anyways, for a female especially. Even for males, it's MMA, not as common as boxing here, but how did you get into fighting from the start? So
I started with my brother training at Australian top team.
Yep.
And
how old were you?
So he started training when he was 14, I'm pretty sure. And he started like doing grappling, so the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling side of things. And then I saw him compete a lot, like do sparring comps, wrestling comps, BJJ comps and all that. And I was like, all right, this looks mad. Like, when I watched him actually do the MMA sparring comp, it looks like a jiu-jitsu competition style. Like, there's the gym mats there and like just a crowd like around.
Yeah.
It's more like on the quiet side. It's not like a really loud environment. And like he had headgear and everything, but like you got to punch. Theirs was only the body because they're under 16 or whatever. and like punch the body, but like take down jiu-jitsu, so you got to like hit on the floor and that. And I watched, I was like, fuck, I can do this. Like I would love to do this.
Yeah.
And it's legal, like it's fun, and it's like it's encouraged because you're learning not just life skills to defend yourself. It's a confidence thing. Some people don't fit in certain crowds, or like I was the type of teenager that I never had a crowd because I could get along with all the nerds and the A graders, and then the ones who were just didn't go to school, did whatever, did drugs, whatever. Like I could be in any group, and I always blended. So I never had something that was for me. I didn't know where I ever like fit. And then when I came across that opportunity and I tried it when I was only 12, so I was 17, and I was so like nervous. So I did jiu-jitsu, and yeah, I didn't like it at the start, and I felt like a bit, because like I walk in the gym, like look, I love HT, like that's my home gym, but I walk in this gym, and there's like big Persian shirtless guys walking around, finished a wrestling session, like one of them got plates doing things around his head, and I'm just like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah,
like, where the fuck did I walk into? And I just walked, never forget, my head was down, and I walked past the counter, I turned, and I just went into the corner. Like I felt so intimidated.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of this was like when they first started. So you're gonna get OG people who like know what they're doing. So that was my experience the first time, and then about 5 months later, I was like, nah, I need to do this. Like I don't want to crack at it, and I just never stopped from the first day.
Yeah, like you said, it's like a confidence thing if you know how to fight. Like I'm not a cracker fight. I'm not even a fighter. What am I talking about? But
look, people can still fight and not be a fighter. It doesn't mean anything.
I feel like in a competition fight, I might do all right, but when you walk into a room and like like you can defend yourself.
Yeah.
And like whenever you walk into a room, you might like size it up a little bit to just like as a safety thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if something was to go down, am I right here? And if you know how to fight, or if you think like I can take these people in this room, you feel a bit more confident in like being yourself. Like right now, you could probably fuck me up. You could probably bash me. So, but it makes such a big difference when you walk into a room and like you're confident in yourself.
Yeah, like 100%. Like I don't think that thought process doesn't really go through my mind unless that situation arises.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's good to know that is normally the way it would go. But sometimes I'll just randomly I just think of a situation. I'll be standing in a line at the bank, and I'll be like, I look at a guy and I'm like, fuck, what would I do if this guy tried to attack me? Like, how would I get out of this? Like, you just end up thinking, and you have this
crazy scenarios, yeah.
Yeah, but not only with fighting. And you just think, how would the stuff I know help the situation? You can't just be all technical, but because when you're on the street, when you're, for example, this is from young experience or whatnot, you're angry, you're emotional, you're not thinking technique.
No, you're just swinging.
There's nothing. I've only had one or two small situations when earlier when I was an amateur as a fighter, or just when I hit pro, where I had to have those encounters. They were only called for, but I just remember getting so angry, your head just goes up, you just helicopter, nothing matters.
Yeah.
And I'm just far out, you think all that training you do, but now when you're emotional, it's such a different story altogether.
What do you reckon wins in a street fight? An angry, strong person, or someone on the same level but a bit more kickback and technical who can think through it?
Oh, I feel when you're too quick and angry and you're swinging, you're really open and you're wide. When you're angry, you're just your arms open up and you just want to throw.
Yeah.
If someone's on the more chill side, they're obviously going to be seen more.
Were you violent as a kid?
No.
Before you started, no?
No, I wouldn't say that's the word. I'd say I enjoyed thrill and challenge. And I didn't get challenged a lot, to be honest, in general, because I don't come across or look for that type thing. But if it ever came to me, being around, especially in high school, girls make, enemies, high school enemies.
Yeah.
Very easily, especially with other, schools, girls' schools. I went to a girls' school for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then, things would just happen or whatnot. And only, one time later in high school when I got into an altercation. But these things are not these are planned, I'm going to go have a punch on. These things come to me.
There's a reason for it.
Trouble came to me, and I had to serve it, had to do it proper.
Just serve it well?
Well, to be quite frank, right, it was 2 Islander girls, and I was with people from school, waiting for our bus or whatnot, and it was at the plaza that's down the road. I went to Westwood Sports after.
Oh, did you?
And it was literally we had the biggest Year 12 in Westwood history. We had almost 300 students in Year 12.
Wow.
We were bigger than the Year 7. That was a thing. I'm telling you, a quarter of my grade, I don't know who the fuck they are. I saw a photo, right? Someone put something up and they're like, do you remember blah, blah, blah? Like, who's that? Like, no, like there are so many people, we have no idea who they are.
That happens a lot with Westfields because there's so many different sports and then you've got the local kids as well.
You know what? I was a local there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Did you end up doing any sport? Was there even like any combat sports there?
No, there wasn't.
Wow.
There's nothing, to be honest. I love doing athletics, like I like sprinting. And I always did compete.
How old are
Every
you,
year.
sorry?
I'm 26.
My
How old are
friend,
you?
I'm 22.
Because you're actually young.
So you started at Australian top team, young. What was it like was there many girls there?
No. When I started, there was only one female there.
What was it like training with the guys growing up?
It was normally pretty good. Like, you normally have good experiences at that gym because everyone's respectful. And it's not like a commercial gym. Like, especially when I started. Like, when I started, they only had been open for a year. Now it's been almost 10 years. So I started 2013, we're in 2022. And they opened in 2012. So they've been open for a long time now. At that point, everyone was, like, close. Everyone knew each other by first-name basis, nicknames. Everyone's mucking around. Like, everyone knows everyone. If you went there, like, you have to know each other. So everything was close-knit. There was some competitiveness eventually between people, but that's just a given. You're in a gym where you're putting your ego on the line, and as a man, and as like, anyone really, like, you missing a goal, you can't compare that feeling to someone, like, cracking you and dropping you.
Yeah.
Like, that embarrassment is... Yeah. It's an ego thing. And, like, if you're competitive, like, I feel like I'm very competitive in certain things. Like, if I want to go play mini golf, I don't care. I don't give a shit. But with something I actually have passion for, like, I'll die for it.
Yeah.
It's people there. Oh, we've seen some things. I've seen people break someone's arm, or...
Just out of anger?
Like, they tap, they don't stop, or someone got angry, took the megals and started cracking them bare knuckle. Like, we've had some... situations. I tore a ligament in my leg over someone else. Like, they were in pain. I just enjoyed it, so I popped my leg over it.
You enjoyed it?
Like, she was in pain, right? And I didn't like this person. And
what are you, sparring or something?
Well, just jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah.
She was very good. She was great. She's a good athlete. I'm not taking that away from her, but I was basically choking her in a, like, go-go plata position. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
So basically on your back and then your knees wrapped around, like, the neck and then the head, and you're choking them with your, like, cuff, your shin, basically. And I'm on my back, so there. Anyway, so she was choking, but very slowly. And when you squeeze someone from the side of the neck, they go to sleep slower, and the brain, like, slowly kind of shuts off. When you choke someone from the front on, like, it's immediate choking, that's why making the noise, the gurgling, all that stuff. But the other way, it's more dangerous.
The other way?
Through the sides.
Really?
Like, because you don't even realise, like, I've been put to sleep, like, 3 times, and I didn't even realise because I'm holding on, like, I'm do or die right now, like, I'm not tapping. And this is just training, not because I have ego problem, but because I'm trying to prove to myself that if I was in a fight, like, how far I'm going to take it. You test everything at the gym.
Yeah.
You don't test things in the fight.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that. If you do fuck your ballsy, I'll give it to you straight out, but it's not something you want to do. Kind
of like that Volkanovski fight with Ortega. He probably would have been in that position, like, you watched it, yeah? Like, a million times in that choke position.
Honestly,
and, like, known his limits. Or he would have been choked out before in that position probably. Yeah, which 100%. Is why he was able to hold on, I reckon.
Like, there are some fights you see, and you're just like, how? Like, how? I watched an amateur fight. Yeah. So whenever, I don't know if you've watched any of the fights at Open Fight Night.
No.
So Open
I've never watched a Sydney, an Australian event.
You're going to the next one.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're going.
Is it good?
Coming. Is it good? This, Tai Tuivasa, myself, Tyson, we've all fought on this show. And the guys are great with their marketing. They know what they're doing.
Talk a lot of shit, eh?
You know what? Everyone's quite respectful towards each other, and the crowds are quite diverse. Yeah, you're gonna get your normal crowd, you know, your Aussies from North Shore. You're gonna get your, like, wogs and stuff, but everyone does their own thing. You know, it's a quite safe environment. Kids come, everything. They started airing as well on Fox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they've done that, and they're doing really well. Look, I fought on there 3 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 times. I've got one of my belts from there. It was my Australian title. That was my first title. Yeah, so they've done really well, and they get some crazy fights anyway. There was a fight with Hayder Kaden. He's one of our fighters at ATT. He defended his belt. His game has improved so much. Like, I remember watching him before he came to our gym, and he was a kickboxer, and he transitioned into MMA, and he's just done really amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, like that fight was mesmerizing to watch, and so many people were going crazy about it, and all these news fighting articles have been posting the fight like one of the best amateur fights I've ever seen. You have to watch it.
Wow.
There'll be a replay somewhere, but yeah, he's done really amazing.
That's good for the Australian scene too.
Yeah, and he's he's borderline going to go pro. He's definitely doing well enough to be a pro.
So what does it take? Like, you got amazing fights like that.
Yeah.
You had like Ty, like you said, and some other people that now fight in the UFC. What does it take from to start in Australia and make that jump to a big promotion?
It's pretty.
Do you think it's
pretty big.
Is it?
It's massive.
How much, on a percentage, how much skill compared to marketable?
It depends. As a male and female would differ 100%. So, as a female, I'm not saying I'm a 10, but I'm trying to say if you're decent looking, or if you can put yourself out there that you can, as I said before, the feminine ratio to being that aggressive fighter who can get blood in their face, and they love that shit.
Like a cyborg.
Oh well, that's you pushed it.
End of the scale.
She's not something else.
So you have a good looking and all right at fighting, or you're on the other end and cracker at fighting.
But they like to say that a woman can get dirty, bloody, but then she can pull up.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it became more of a thing, and I started to notice that it's kind of desired to be like that type of fighter.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of pressure and posts and media saying things like that. So you end up not following it, but you kind of just end up being like that. It just happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, within reason, you're not going to become something that people say you're not, but it just kind of guides what you're doing as already.
I get you, yeah.
So it was one of my my first proper media day, because it was my second UFC fight.
How did you get the call up?
The call up?
To get to the UFC?
So I have a manager.
Yeah.
He's based in Brazil, and he's half Japanese.
Your manager's in Brazil?
Yeah.
How'd you meet him?
I didn't meet him first, but I was first signed by On the Road. Was it called On the Road at the start? I don't know. I'm pretty sure On the Road, and it was Armando, who's from Perth, and then Tiago, who's my manager. They had it together, and I was with Armando at the start, and then after maybe a year and a half, or even less, 6 months, I switched to Tiago. So anyway, I had a manager because I'm I want to get serious, right? I got the manager just before my last fight before the UFC. So I'm all right, I'm 3-0, all with finishes, all in less than a minute. I'm not getting ring time. I need it. And no one wanted to fight me. I'm not even joking. When it came to MMA.
Yeah, I saw your record. It was
it was just annoying.
You had 1, 2, 3, 4 fights, but it was from 2015 to 2017. That's not as active for a young professional, eh?
Nah, it's not. I called out people after the fights. I'd won a fight, and this girl wanted to fight me, and I was like, fuck yeah. So after I won the fight, I jumped over the cage, and she was sitting right there, and I'm like, who's next? And I pointed at her. And she just looked at me and looked away, and I was like, all right. I was sick of calling people out or whatnot. Did whatever I had to do.
Yeah.
At that time, there was just no active females. And as soon as I went and got the UFC, all these girls coming out pro, and I was like, where the fuck were you?
In Australia?
Yeah, in Sydney.
Yeah.
3, 4 new, but they weren't really, some of them were smaller than me. I would fight at, Sydney, I would have fought strawweight, flyweight, and honestly, if I know I want to bash the bitch, I'll fight a bantamweight. I don't care. And I walk at under banter. I walk at 59, 58. Yeah. I used to fight at 56.6.
It makes a big difference, eh?
Yeah, that type of training, your body is completely different. But yeah, so got that call up after the last fight in Hurstville.
From your manager?
Yeah, so I was at work. I used to work for DHL in the pharmaceutical sector. And basically, he's like, check your emails right now. He was buzzing my phone, messenger, right? I don't know what time it was in Brazil, 3 a.m. He's buzzing me and he's like, check your emails right now. And I was like, why? I'm a bit busy. He's like, no, trust me, you're going to want to see this. Because there was some talks about it. It's if you might get noticed. I'm thinking, yeah, what's the chances I'm going to get noticed? I actually didn't think anything of it. I'm like, nah, my luck isn't that great. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't think I.
That was before Ty took off. That was before,
Ty and
or
I
like
did
to the level he is.
Yeah, not like as right now, but he always had a good crowd.
Whitaker was starting to headline at that time, or was he champion?
I don't think he was champion yet.
So like the Australian scene isn't what it is now. You got like
No.
Whitaker, Volk, Dan Hooker, New Zealand, Adesanya.
No. I've met all the guys. Rob and I know each other. We've done like a commercial together as well.
Yeah.
Like one of other athletes too was for it was for an ad on one of the Fox channels.
That's
So I just
hectic.
slipped my mind. So it just passed my mind. But anyways, yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. I got to go in like a little ring with another girl that I actually know, who's a boxer. And we're both southpaws actually. And we did see it's like it made it really dark and they put the smoke and we had to wear black outfit, like a crop top, short, whatever thing, and then they're spraying us with water, making us look like we're really sweaty.
Full Hollywood.
Yeah, they really like juice you up. They do what they got to do, and then we're pressing ground in pound position, and then I just had to. You have to do like the shortest thing, so you have to look angry for like only 3 seconds. It's like proper. You have to pretend you know how to act.
Commercials go. I've seen one before. Like goes for so long of filming. It's like a 15-second clip, eh?
Literally.
And all the setup and shit that goes into it.
They did a 2-day thing.
Far out. So your manager called you. You were at work.
I check it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I thought, one fight was a 4-fight contract off the bat.
Yeah.
I was like,
So how does that work? Is it like a?
it depends. Sometimes they give you a 1 fight, 2 fight, 4 fight.
So you set like you're meant to have 4 fights. Is there like a fixed cost, a fixed payment you're going to get for each one?
So basically, if you're on the bottom of the game, you don't have. I wasn't signed from like Bellator, Invicta, or some decent organisation. I'm signed from Aussie cards, so I'm getting the lowest pay, which I will admit openly is 10 grand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10K to fight, 10K to win, and then you get like a cut from Reebok because we went before we signed Reebok, not Venom, right? And then it's like 3.5 years or US, right?
10 grand US.
10 if you win, and then plus the 3.5, so you're getting like that's 23.5. So you're gonna get like 28K maybe Aussie dollars from your first fight if you win. That's just base. If you get a fight of the night,
Bonuses.
KO of the night, that's 50K.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, mostly it's the pay-per-view because that's the fights everyone's watching and knows. They're the ones that gets the bonuses. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just normally a given.
Oh, do you reckon 10 grand? Do you reckon that's pretty good for like a first UFC fight?
Like
Minimum.
I just think it depends on how you value yourself as a fighter.
What was that compared to like the Aussie cards? You don't have to get into too much detail, but like, is that a jump from the Aussie cards you're at, or not really?
Pay weight?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I can
big-
admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can admit that. But that's fine because I never fought for money.
Mm.
I never fought for money. I only fought because I loved it. And I liked the feeling like you're empowered, like it's just you one person and there's nothing going to stop you. Like it's just you, that's it.
Yeah.
Like if you want to, like, you know, like Gladiator?
Yeah.
That's how I imagine my fight when I walk in there.
Seriously.
Yeah, 100%. Like barefoot, true or not, barefoot, they're walking through the gravel,
Yeah.
people are screaming. Like that's
Must be a
that's
cracker
how I picture
feeling.
myself. Like when I fight, I don't fight like, oh, it's just me. I'm gonna punch on. Like it's you envision.
G's you up.
100%.
Do you miss it?
I can't say that I don't because I do miss it, but like I know where I want to be at. Like I think I gave it a good run. I had fun. I did what I had to do, but then I started taking into consideration my health, my family, my life, my age, you know, and how I felt inside as well. Because I started to feel like fighting wasn't making me happy anymore, and it was kind of making me feel like it was a chore and it was a job, and I hated it.
Yeah.
I started to turn on the whole combat sports. So to like give myself a break, I was like, all right, that fourth fight didn't pull through, right? I got an injury 2 weeks prior to the fight. I had my diet on lock. Like when I say on lock, the best I've ever cut weight.
Yeah.
So my first fight was at Straw, 52. And then the last 2 at 56.6.
Yeah.
And then the first fight, I missed weight. And I was like very embarrassed and blah, blah,
What do you walk around at, like, roughly?
Now?
When you're like, at that time?
Like I was bigger before. So I probably used to walk at like 64,
So you cut in like 8 kilos for that first one.
12,
Oh, what did you?
52
Oh
for
shit!
the first one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's like first time ever cutting. Like I don't look like I can lose a lot of weight at the time
Yeah.
either. Like I'm 59, 60 now. Depends. Like if I'm having a fat day or not. Otherwise I'm like in the 58 or whatever. And then I was bigger, and because I've been doing now like weights, and I was have a strength coach and stuff. When I started to do weights, my body started to tone up more.
Yeah.
Where before it was muscle, but it wasn't like toned.
Mm.
Like I watched like I saw a photo of me in my first fight, and my body when I was walking out, I was like, I look like a little fatty. Like I wasn't even fat, but I was like skinny fat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, there's no like muscle like proper. I always had like a bit of shoulders because I used to swim, but besides that, there wasn't anything like. I just laugh. It's so different. Like I go from then where I'd suffer and sit in a sauna for like an hour for the first one. They're like, listen, this is the boys say to us. The first session in there, like when you're dehydrated and cutting the last bit of water, is the hardest. First session is the hardest. Stay in there the longest, and then you can start cutting it down. So let's say you can push, depending how bad you are, but let's say if you can push 40 minutes
In the sauna.
and just no water. Just stop drinking water midday that day. So we water load 6 to 9 litres depending how much you weigh a day. And then, mind you, you're pissing all day.
Yeah.
It's the worst. And they're doing all that, but then you start cutting it down like the last 2 days. So you have all this water. So you can't fuck up your diet from when you start water loading. Because then it's just water. You don't know if you just got to gain some fat or if you just got you're full of water.
Yeah.
But you still have goals even with the water in your body. But I'm telling you, I've never sweat like this in my life. But when you water load, imagine like, so my first fight, in one night, I went from 59 to 53 and a half.
In one night.
In one night.
Let me just. Fuck, that always happens at like the worst times. So, you water loading. You lost 59 to 52.
I did a 53 and a half. I didn't, like, it was so hard.
Yeah.
So it got down to that night. That was that night alone. I had to get dragged from the bath to another room. Wrap me in like those, you know, those thick Arab blankets, like the tigers and shit.
Yeah. I have one at home.
Every wog has to have one. Okay,
Always.
you have to.
During winter. It's coming out soon, actually, another couple of weeks.
100%. I'm ready for it. I'm wearing pants to sleep like it's all.
So, what, you're using that to cut weight?
So like, it get out of the bath, and just so you're giving your body a break from the boiling water you just sat in. When I say boiling, like we used to milk it back in the day.
Is it just to sweat? Like, you're doing everything you can to sweat?
Yeah, because at this point, so you try and sweat that day. So let's say you stop eating the night before, and you stop drinking water at midday. You start cutting your weight properly around 3 p.m. So you're letting the water sit, then you wait, then you start sweating it out. As soon as you can, if you have energy, you use it. If you need to savor it and you can't breathe, you feel like you're going to die. Literally, you feel like you're going to die. Your heart is racing, and you get dry and hot, but then your body starts panicking. Especially my first time, I got really scared. I was like, wow, I'm gonna die. So I wrapped him up in that warm blanket in between the bath session, and then heater on the highest
Far out.
next to your head. Like, can you imagine that feeling?
No.
Disgusting is the word. Okay, I did that 9 times.
9 times.
9 fucking times
For one weight cut.
for one weight cut in one night. So I already just did a 2-hour sauna. Then I called my coach at the time crying. I've only lost 2 kilo, a kilo and a half. He goes, what the fuck? Come here right now, cut weight. Yalla, we're doing this. You're cutting your first fight, you're making weight, and we're doing this right. I started cutting the bath weight from 11 p.m. to 4 in the morning.
Far out. This is all the day before the
This
fight?
is the night before, or the weigh-in.
So 2 days before the fight?
Yeah, this is a day and a half, a night and a half away. Because you obviously fight in the evening. So yeah, it's basically like just under 2 days. I look like something, I'll tell you that much. I look like I was dying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've seen videos like from Khabib's one,
Oh really?
and like where he looks like he's going to die.
Yeah. But that was a bad experience. My first time inexperienced, was still learning. The diet thing was really hard because I wasn't used to it.
But so you missed weight. It must have been hard, like dealing with that and a promotion. But you ended up winning the fight.
Yeah, in the UFC, yeah.
So what was that like in Sydney as well? Home win in your first
mad.
UFC fight.
That was fucking sick, honestly. The best feeling. The best thing is walking out and, like, the crowd, that was pretty good. Like, the atmosphere was eccentric, honestly. Because, you know, where I walked out, I wasn't sure if I was going to have, like, more fans or, like, not. I just kind of walked in with the thought process of nothing. Like, I have nothing and, like, I have no one. That is just so you don't feel pressure, you know? Like, it was just something, that's the way my mind just worked at the time. Like, you kind of, when you prepare to fight, when you have a fight camp and stuff, your mental thought process, or for me anyway, was like, you're, like, going to war. Like, it's just you at the end of the day. Like, everything's on you. It's not a team sport.
Yeah.
It's a team sport in a way where you train with each other. Like, you need to fall back on your training partners to get better and improve and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you're in there by yourself.
Yeah.
So, there's just a way of that.
How'd you deal with, like, you had the win and then the losses? How'd you deal with that pressure even after a loss?
Pretty hard the first time, especially because first pay-per-view fight, and that was such a shit performance on behalf. I was really embarrassed, to be honest.
Is that the worst thing about losing? Like, is it, what's worse is, like, one, it might stunt, like, your trajectory in your career. Two, you miss out on the money from the win money.
Yeah.
And three, like you said, if you get embarrassed or, you know, if it's a home crowd as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard, and there was a lot of hype, and I think maybe I was too cocky. I did train hard, but I could have trained harder.
You got comfortable?
Yeah, I needed it. I think a loss is healthy.
Yeah.
But maybe to not that extent that I felt that embarrassed in a way. I felt like I did nothing.
Why did you feel embarrassed? Because you felt like...
I didn't even touch there, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. All I did was defend, and I defended to the end. Like, I tore my MCL off my elbow. Like, I have
in that fight?
In that fight, I have no connection from my bicep to my elbow. Oh, the back, so the tricep. So I literally just... Obviously, I have the tendon, but I don't have the ligament there. So in the first round, she tore my MCL in the first round. And then the feeling, I can't explain. Like, I've broken bones, leg, face, done my knee, done my hand. I've done a lot of things. But the point is, that this is different. The LCL on my knee felt like popping, and like just a rush, like a burn. But this burn was like times 10. It literally went like the whole way up my whole arm, like from my triceps down to my forearm.
Yeah, okay.
And it was like piercing here, and it felt like I could see my muscles, and they just snapped, like I could see it.
Are you trying to not show you're in pain as well?
Oh my God, like I felt it, because my elbows and my joints are quite flexible. Like, I've been known at the gym, like, they look at me, they call me the exorcist. Like, my spine, like, not now, I feel like I'm crippled now. Yeah. But when I'm 21, my body was peaking with the way I could move, like, insane movements. And I used to dance when I was younger, so that kind of incorporated the way I could move, like, a bit smooth. And but people trip the fuck out. Like, the way my
especially in jiu-jitsu and shit.
My arm would literally go the whole way back. Like, they could never use me as an example because people get scared. Like, when's she going to stop? When to stop?
Yeah.
Like, my arm's all the way. But now, it's so different.
Yeah.
But, so, I forgot where I started because I always go
the loss.
I always do this. To myself. But yeah, the loss, so, when I tore the MCL, and then, you know, the second round came, I was like, I can't breathe, fuck this. Like, I wasn't even fit enough either. I was fit, but I wasn't fit enough. I didn't train as hard for the first fight. No way. I think I wanted it so much more. And there was a big gap. 2017 November to February 2019 is a big gap. I went through a lot in that time.
Yeah.
I went through a lot. It was really fucked up at one point, but alhamdulillah, thank God, you know, everything works out for a reason. And yeah, it worked out. So.
You talked a bit before about like how you kind of know what you want to do now, and like in hindsight you saw like it wasn't healthy for you, but was there something that like happened apart from the fight getting called off in 2020 that like led to you stop fighting in the UFC or in MMA?
No, I just feel like it was a build-up of things, and it was like a long time coming. Like, I wasn't really sure why I was still fighting and stuff like that.
Was it like personal things or things like happening with the UFC?
Not too much internal with the UFC. There was like a tiff when I got cut. Because I got cut.
What's a tiff?
Like, I had a bit of a, like, not altercation, but we had a bit of drama.
Beef.
Yeah, basically. In the like, I was trying to downplay it a bit. But yeah, because when I had to pull out, I was meant to be in Vegas. I was so pumped. I was so G'd up.
That would have been your first overseas, eh?
Yep, I was like over the moon to go there, and I was fighting an American chick. So I already fought an American once, fought a Korean, and I was gonna fight another American girl. And
I'm gonna cut you off before you get into it, but like when you go, when you have a fight in Vegas and shit, do they pay for that?
yeah,
So they pay for your flights out there, accommodation, everything.
yeah. And then when you're there, leaving, you have to leave. If it's overseas, you have to leave 7 days prior, minimum.
That's mad.
You have to. We do media day. We do this. We do that. Interviews, ESPN, everything.
Far out.
And then as soon as you arrive to the UFC, this is the go. When you arrive to the facility, they hire out like whole floors, right? And they have like the bottom floor where like conference rooms are, or top floor, whatever it's depending which ones you've been, which hotel we're at. Like, and it'll be like a former UFC board, and it'll be like conference room, and then be like media here, this one, this room. Like so every conference room is proper.
Yeah.
Everything. But when you first walk in, it's like, all right, you come off, they have luxury cars, they pick you up, they take you to the hotel, you come out, and then there's big, massive tables, and then certain fighters, so there's big posters of all the UFC fighters that are fighting on that card, and we all sign.
Yeah.
Like, we might not, face might be on it because it's not on the poster, but we will have to sign it.
Yeah.
It's like, I've sat with, like, heaps of champs doing that. Like, I've done this with Kelvin Gastelum, Anderson Silva, you know, like, there's... Henry Cejudo, like I've met them.
I'm going to get into the fanboy stuff after you finish your UFC career. But
yeah, go.
So you had the Vegas fight. You were you're pumped for that, and then what happened there?
Yeah, and so that didn't pull through. I had to pull out, and then the matchmaker got shitty at me.
The matchmaker, so the people not Dana White himself.
No, I never had to go through him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like my fights are political enough to make it to that elite level of it being addressed on Dana's level.
Yeah.
Like, I've met him, I've spoken to him, he's funny.
Yeah.
He's great. And I think he likes me. In a friendly way, of course. Nah, like, he was, I think I was on the favourite side. And so for the second fight, we had what's it called? We had a pre-fight talk. And because of the pay-per-view, that means Dana comes. So Dana was there, and then he was jing us up, and how he isn't...
As in a pre-fight talk with the media, or he comes in and addresses the fighters?
It was just fighters only, and Dana.
That's
he has on talk to the fighters, and all the fighters had to be there. It was just us, and we're just chatting, and then he just does the full G-up thing. Like, magic. He's like, you know how he does the ads on TV? Like, that's probably how he is.
Yeah.
Like, he can be, like, muck around and stuff, but he was like, you want to get that 50K bonus? He was like, show me a fight. Like, he was G'ing us all up. You know, like, people want to see, like, he was making us, like, I want to go to war.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck.
That's hectic.
Yeah, it was proper. It was good.
Whatever happened with the UFC. Is there, like, would you ever, if you got back into fighting, would you go back and fight there if you got offered?
I think I'd have to have won some fights outside the organisation.
But it's not like it's not like, no, fuck them, I'm not going back there.
No, it's not like that. I don't have any drama. I don't hate. It is what it is. I just know where I stand. But I wouldn't want to go back to the UFC. If I wanted to fight bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Why, they get a lot more money, or?
That, the feeling.
Fuck that.
It's like boxing. Like, I love boxing for me. Like, because the end of 2021, I was like, I'm completely turned off MMA. Like, I already wasn't active that year anyway, but I was doing like one-on-ones, PT clients, and I still do that on and off. And I just like hold pads for females where they want to like lose weight or get fit and learn how to fight, whatever it is. Like, I'll talk to them. But tell me like, oh, I want to just get a big ass. I'm like, go see a PT. Like, I'm not here for that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't. That's not what I'm here for. Like, nothing's wrong with that, but I'm not about that life. Like, to teach someone. Like,
yeah.
I like things that make me feel good as well. Like, I feel rewarded when I see females that can fight or they're strong. Like, I've had some stories of my clients doing shit, like not in a fight, like with it, like in necessary situations, like
defending themselves.
Yeah, like I've heard things. I was like, wow. And like, oh, I did this thing. I was like, stop.
You contributed to that, yeah.
Like, it makes me feel good that they can avoid like bad situations as well.
Fuck bare knuckle fighting.
Fuck yeah.
Is that what Paige Van Zant does?
Yeah, she did that. Rachel Osovich has done it. And
Yeah.
I've got a friend, her name's Beck Rawlings. She fought in the UFC. She actually fought, she was on the Ultimate Fighter. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah, I haven't watched probably that one, but yeah,
That
I've
was
watched
like
it in
an
the
older
past.
one. It's like 2013.
I used to watch back in the day when I was a kid with my dad, like Rashad Evans, Rampage days.
Oh, wow. Okay,
like
the good
back
ones.
then, yeah.
I've watched heaps. I used to watch heaps before. But Alex Chambers, the one I fought the first time, she was on the Ultimate Fighter as well. With
Oh,
me.
really?
Yeah. So I already knew of these people. But Beck's the best. She's up in Queensland. She's a top chick. And she's a mad fighter. Big respect for her. Like, her performance, the way she's still feminine, but she's got personality and she's got a heart, and she's got a heart of gold. Yeah, she's great. Her and her boys, they're beautiful. They're a good family.
I want to ask you a question. It's a bit left field, but something that, like, you're a Lebanese girl from Muslim background, like myself, not a girl, but Muslim background.
I was like, oh, all right.
And when you're doing like something that's kind of against the grain, how did you deal with that? Like, you, in our culture, fighting 100%. For girls is not really, I think anything for girls in sport really, like rugby league as well. And then like, I'm like, I don't judge, I don't care, I like it. But I'm sure you would have got some strife for like, you know, 1, the fighting, 2, how they kind of market the women in UFC as well. 3, what you were in a fight. Regardless of, you know, for old heads or people in that culture, it's like it's frowned upon. So how'd you deal with, you know, that? Was it hard for your family or anything like that?
Yeah, look, there's contribution to that being like a bit of dramas, like in certain situations.
And the reason I'm asking is because, like, me doing this, like, I want to get to a stage where I have my own studio and I'm smoking like Gila and, you know, doing whatever the fuck I want and saying whatever the fuck I want. But it's like something that people deal with, especially like in this, now on like social media age where it's everywhere. It's online for everyone to see.
Yeah, look, it's really hard, and I think it's like, you think you might know, but it's more like a learn as you go. You don't realise you do things. So there's a lot of things I might have done or publicised in my earlier days, and I would never do that now. Like, it might not be a massive deal to some people, but just to me, like, there's things I just wouldn't do. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things where social media aspects, it can blow up, like, we can blow up everything.
Do you have an element of like, fuck what people say as well, because this is what I like to do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that was, again, like a lot of that attitude or like mentality was like early days, but then I'm like, oh yeah, I still don't care what people think, but I think about, you know, X about this certain way, you know, so it's just on me now. It's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I only really use that, like this account, for marketing purposes now, or for proper things. I could try my best. Occasionally, like, you got to put up something funny. Like, you got to put up something like lighthearted. But
you're not on social media as much.
No way.
Not as active.
No, I never jump on my Instagram unless a message pops up, or just like randomly flick through it maybe twice a day. But I really don't use it. I just used it so much at one point, and my phone never stopped. When I was active, it never stopped. The followers, everything, all the notifications are off for me. But like, just the amount of shit that happens when you open your phone, like when you're on it, I'm going to spend 45 minutes on it because there's like so much shit to go through, and I'll get like stressed about shit I've read, seen, people commenting, DM'd me, whatever it is. I'm just like, can't deal.
It's draining.
It was bad before, especially after my last loss. Wow. I copped the biggest slack. You have no idea.
For what?
I copped.
For losing?
No, for losing. So I watched a video after. There's a video of me touching gloves with my opponent, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's calling it the fake glove touch.
I saw it, yeah.
I'm just going to address that situation, okay? Let's just put it out there because everybody asked me why. Everyone's been asking me.
Watch my alarm's going to go off in the middle of this.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah.
This situation pisses me off, honestly, I'm not going to lie. So I touch gloves, and instead of like, do people touch and then I come back and then they're just doing their thing, I touched and I kicked off the bat. Like, straight away, I'm like, touch, kick.
Yeah, straight into it.
But I kicked her stomach, so she went flying back, and she came. I came to Superman punch her, and then she drops me. Honestly, I've never been dropped like that.
Really?
I don't know what happened. Like I literally, as in not in that home, but I don't know how I got hit. I was like, because I was an idiot. Instead of going like straight through Superman, I went got happy and I went up like this, so my head went up instead of going really out. And I normally do this move a lot in training, so I was like, fuck the nerves, you know what I mean?
Was it a plan to like touch and quick kick, or was it
No.
just like you just wanted to get into it, you're excited?
I got excited. I was nervous.
Yeah.
And I felt pressure. I was like, oh, what if I lose and they cut me? Because like they can cut you even at one loss. They don't like you sack.
Yeah.
But if you keep winning, they can't cut you. Or
Yeah.
there's a drama.
So you just got straight into it. You wanted to get done.
Because my other 2 fights, I was slow starter. My
Yeah.
first fight, I'm just like baiting, touching, like fainting. And then she came and she took me down because I was just bucking.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know to hit or get hit and then defend. Because I'm also like a big defend fighter. Like I like turn over a lot of moves. Like I feel like that's a good side of mine. Like a lot of bait certain submissions to get a position or to get like vice versa. Like a lot of risky behaviour in my training and my fighting. So I was always slow starter. That's my point. And I got taken down again with Montana the second fight. She didn't even hit me. She was just walking me down, like trying to punch, like but walking, and then just cage takedown. Like no one wanted to stand with me because of the TKOs and the knockouts.
Yeah.
But when I did stand, like I had fun, like I had a ball.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a bit hard.
So you copped it for that?
So the cop for the last one, for the fake love touch and then they put a video saying karma because I got dropped. Like they're not respectful to touch and go.
Yeah.
And the things I didn't even know I did it. Even after the whole fight,
In your head, it's just a normal touch and you started fighting, yeah.
I had no idea how quick I did it. And I still can't physically recall that at all. Like I felt like it was touch, wait, go. I didn't think it was touched. Like apparently it was. I watched the footage. It was like as if I was doing a slap kick. Like I literally set it up.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Why did I do
fuck,
that?
I was eager.
Yeah.
Because I thought as soon as I got into the hospital after that fight, because I couldn't walk because I think I fractured my foot on her face, and I tore my tendons on my fingers. I broke my nose.
Fire out.
And I had a chip on my eye. So I'm there fucked up, and then my phone's buzzing as I turn the phone back on, and I'm copying like people hate messages, comments, videos. The video straight away, like it was straight away, and it was like instant karma. I was like, what a fucking dog, she's scum, this, that. Like people don't give a fuck. Like they were dropping heavy shit. Oh, like she deserves to be run over. People fucking say. People were saying everything and anything.
Just to piss you off.
Yeah, and I was trying not to read it, and I like, don't read it. But then I was like, wait, why? What happened? Like, I was asleep.
Confused to why it's coming.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought it was what I did it in the fight was standing up. I pointed to the floor so she could look to the floor and kicked her in the face.
Did it work?
Yeah. I started laughing. So I thought, fuck. So then when we recorded that, when I saw that, I was like, I'm spewing.
That's a good trick.
Yeah, I think one of the boys actually does it a lot in training. And I don't even know why I did it in the fight.
I have ones like, we used to have like an amateur fight night, not even amateur, just my friends chuck on the gloves and like G up and have some fun.
You got to do it.
And there was one, it was me versus Alan. Alan, if you're listening, we had mouth guards in, no headgear or anything, just big gloves. And the fight started, touch gloves, and then I spit the mouth guard out because I didn't like it. Spit it on the floor, and he looked at it. I just jabbed him in the face. It was funny.
That's like straight
No, it
up.
was funny.
Guys are animals.
It was funny.
I could never crack my friend.
Well, it sounds like a good technique.
Something about pressures.
Your life being out there.
Yes. So I was trying to say that I think because of all the exposure that I had, I wanted a private life. I feel like I was showing too much. I was showing too much anyway, and I was more out there, more known, more active, more attention.
Yeah.
And I don't actually like attention. I never really have. Like I like being noted for my successes. Like if it's proper success. I never really had much like success in life in general. But I felt like I deserved that attention in a way, but not. I think I milked it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I look back now, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could regret it, but I can't. You can't remove everything.
Yeah.
Like there's photos that, for example, I don't even want on
Online.
the internet, and they're taken on the internet now. Like not on Instagram, like they've been saved on pages. You just put in Google my name, and there are photos that I don't want up there, but I can't take them off. The internet owns them now.
Yeah.
Like if, for example, if I ever want to put the scarf on, there's photos of me in bikinis and stuff on the internet. Like how will I take that off?
Yeah.
Like kills me, but what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Like I wouldn't even post that now. Now it's like forever on the internet. Because I've had an issue with that before. I have a friend, we're not close or anything, but she's scarfed, but she used to do like modelling and stuff. And there's like photos of her, nothing inappropriate, but like not really, like not heavily clothed.
Yeah.
Like short crop
She just
tops.
doesn't want it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, and like now, and like no scarf, nothing, like body showing, and now she's completely scarfed. So
Yeah, it must be hard to deal with.
it is hard, and I think having a partner as well who doesn't have to be jealous, but they just feel protective over their like wives or whatever. I think that plays on both their minds. But yeah, like what does it do? What do you do? Sorry, like yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah. Like if you forgive yourself and you repent, you can sort yourself out, you know. And then if your partner's accepting and you know, they're not meant to judge pasts anyway. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to expose your everything. Like it's a new life, you know, when you start that type of relationship or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I just find a lot of women in the community would struggle with like progression into their deen as well, like on to talk on that side of things. So yeah, it can be difficult for some people.
So what's going on for now? You're working full time.
Yep, I work in transport, so I've been doing that for like.
You like it?
It's very on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all like logistics, transportation,
Proper full time corporate job.
full time.
Are you like is it like a trade or are you an office type thing?
No, it says in the office, but because we have a depot on site, we actually have to go outside, and I have to do the reporting, damages.
It's very different to walking into an arena.
Well, trust me, it's your own little ring. It's like your own little hobbies, actually.
Yeah.
I was having a laugh about that. And some of the boys are calling it a correctional centre. Like this, it's like, it's not a bad place.
Is fighting in like the rear view? You ever gonna, even if it's bare knuckle boxing, whatever? Because I see you still box at final round.
Yeah, I haven't actually been actively boxing. I've been mostly doing like weights.
Yeah.
But I do miss it. I do want to box soon. I was telling my coach the other day. Like
A boxing match?
No, not boxing match. Just train.
Yeah.
Can't.
No more fighting
No,
at all?
I'm retired.
Okay. I have a few questions from the Instagram thing I've put up.
Yes, tell me.
One said, what is the recovery process like after a fight and what's the turnaround time for your next fight?
So I think in general, people can fight quite often. In MMA, did you say?
Yeah.
MMA maybe less because
You get damage everywhere.
literally, and the gloves are smaller, meaning more impact. Like, look, I feel like Muay Thai, for example, I fought Muay Thai twice. Your shins cop it bad,
Yeah.
like lumpy as hell pain, and like your thighs and stuff. I'm a southpaw, so I get bruised on the inside of my leg because my right leg's forward or whatnot. But I think recovery depends on per person, per fight, how long it goes for. You know, think like if you're concussed, you can't fight for 90 days, or I think it's
Automatically you can't.
you can't even you're like sanctioned by MASA, which is the Australian Organisation for Sport. You're not allowed to fight for 3 months, I'm pretty sure, or unless it might be a bit longer. But I had a 6-month suspension
Wow.
from my last fight. So
It depends on each fight really, how much damage you take.
100%. So they have to write reports at the hospital like every
You got to go to hospital after every fight
only if you're
if you take
banged up.
damage. Yeah.
My first fight, no, I was fine. I was eating ice cream after like
What's it like being a retired fighter? Do you get an itch to fight when you watch it?
yeah, sometimes. I don't really watch a lot of fighting. And I feel like that based around I don't know, I don't find myself a fan of the sport. I don't think
Really?
I watch any sport. Like I don't sit down and watch like committed sport. If there's just something I might find interesting, I'll just watch it. I've never been like crazy into sport in general, like as in viewing, but playing, I've played everything.
Yeah.
Football, tennis, soccer, netball, volleyball.
It's just about being competitive, eh?
I just want to try everything.
Yeah.
I'm like that little kid that doesn't eat their whole food. I want a bit of this, bit of this. Like I was an annoying kid, and I still am annoying like that.
Like you said with the shins before, as a like couch fan over here, I always like think, oh, would I go into MMA or would I go into boxing? MMA because I like jiu-jitsu and shit, but
Yeah, do you train?
no.
Why
never.
not? Try it.
It's too expensive, to be honest. It's
No,
like
don't worry. We'll come to Australian top team. The boys are solid in Wentworthville.
I've had a look at like UFC gym and that.
No,
Very expensive.
I was a coach there at Bankstown.
UFC gym, yeah.
Yeah. I was doing the adult no-gi once a week or twice a week. At the start it was twice a week, and then kids classes 3 days a week, 2 no-gi and 1 gi. Oh no, sorry, 2 gi, 1 no-gi. You would be fine. Are you athletic? Do you find yourself
Yeah, I
like
used to play footy.
You'd be perfect, don't worry.
It was all based on wrestling with my brother growing up. He used to play footy as well.
You'd be gone.
But I don't think I could take the leg kicks, eh? Like Fuck that.
Really?
Like you were saying, the shins and shit.
In a fight, you mean?
Yeah, like if I was to choose boxing or MMA, I don't know if I could do the kicks.
But it's a whole different game. Like when you box, so like I only really noticed this much, but when I started boxing, my coach Haas, he holds pads like closer than MMA. Because in MMA you got range, like
You gotta watch
gears.
out for kicks, takedowns, everything.
Yeah, like there's a lot of bouncing happening, like little fairies, like literally just bouncing around. Boxing, it's like step, drag, move, bob, weave.
Yeah.
Like more bounce, but it's not like they're not jumping around.
Yeah.
And then like when I was sparring like boxers like 2 years ago, I was hopping. Tina was helping me in my camp, but I think she was fighting Tina Rahimi. She's going to Turkey and Birmingham to fight boxing for Commonwealth Games. She's gone. She's done amazing. And big things for her, honestly. Yeah, inshallah, she does really well. She's great. But yeah, her and I spotted each other, and she was laughing, and she's like, "You're fucking, she's like, you're moving so much." She was bouncing, and I rewatched the sparring video actually the other day because I've got footage of us sparring, and I don't even spar like that now. Like there's so much improvements that I've actually made since I stopped fighting, and I was like, oh wow, like what if like I use my skill and I actually train? Like I can count. I probably trained once this year.
Wow.
Boxing.
Far out.
Yeah, January. I don't box. Like I started wrestling once a week or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I started wrestling once a week, and because my love is wrestling.
BJJ.
Like no, like
or like
actual
proper wrestling.
Proper wrestling, like apparently it's sunnah as well to learn how to wrestle. So that's actually a good thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
So like
That archery,
that's so good.
Yeah, archery. I think horse riding. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure.
Or like olden day.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the horse riding was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't recall that one actually 100%. But anyway, yeah. So I was like, this is mad. And I want to learn archery as well. That's something that I actually really want to get.
It looks fun. It looks like
Tried
peaceful.
it. Sorry.
It looks peaceful too.
But you know what? You have to have mad shoulders. Hey.
Yeah.
Because like when you pull it back, it's not like a little pull like the.
That's like all the way
So
extension.
it's gonna pop. It's gonna pop. When you pop, your shoulder's gonna pop.
Yeah.
So you have to like really. I gotta start training some chest. I hate training chest.
It takes like proper power.
Yeah, 100%. Like it'll be really have a good core, shit like that too.
Thank you for coming on. And before you leave, I just want to give you your props because like making the UFC is not a little thing.
I think you appreciate
As an
it.
Australian fan, like that's massive. So congrats on everything in your career, and I hope everything else goes well. But thank you for coming on, and
Anytime.
this will be up soon.